Who's hacking you? Today, we're going to show you how to knock them out. Who's hacking you? And how do we knock them out? Well, if you can see by my screen behind my head, the answer is everyone's trying to hack you. Today alone, 17 million plus. That is a lot. It's not even noon here. So, what is happening here exactly? All around the world, hackers are trying to hack businesses, trying to hack you, trying to hack your business. And they're doing it in several different ways. We're going to explain exactly how they're doing it and how you can knock them out. You can get rid of them and keep them out. Today on IT Adam. On the screen here, you're going to see three different colors: red, purple, and yellow. So the red one is malware. What is malware? Well, according to the definition, malware is malicious computer software that interferes with normal computer functions or sends personal data about the user to unauthorized parties over the internet. That's right. They got your personal information. Your email, your passwords, all of your contacts, your bank account information. That's what malware does. If you download it unknowingly and put it on the computer, it's in. And it sends it right back to the hacker that made the malware. The purple one is phishing. Phishing is defined as the act of sending an email that falsely claims to be from a legitimate organization. This is usually combined with a threat or request for information. For example, PIN numbers, passwords, usernames. They want it all. What are they going to do with it? Well, they're going to sell it. They're going to sell it on the dark web for money. Not the black web, the dark web for money. And this is probably the number one reason why people do it, is to make money. The third thing is called an exploit. What is an exploit? An exploit is the act, it's not the first one, sorry. A program or system designed to take advantage of a particular error, security vulnerability in computers or networks. What does that mean? Every day, your computer needs patching. And the reason those patches are made is because somebody found a security vulnerability in the software that runs on your computer, and they can exploit it. Now, this all sounds fun and dandy, but what does it actually do? Most of these will send information back, open up a network connection on your computer. Well, how do you know they're actually on your computer? And how do you knock them out? How do you kick them out of there? So we're going to show you exactly how to do that, and also exactly who's in your computer. Every single one of these attacks is an IP address hooking up to your computer. What is an IP address? How does it work? And how do we know if a hacker's IP address has infiltrated our computers? Well, right over here, it says an IP address is used to identify hardware on the devices on your network. The addresses allow each device to connect to one another, transfer data on the local network or over the internet. Each address is a string of numbers separated by periods. There are 4 numbers in total, and each number can range from 0 to 255. On your home network, you probably have something like a 192.168.1. something. Each of the last number, the dot somethings, is assigned to each device. So your computer will have, well, your router's .1, and your computer can be .2, your phone can be a .3, your printer's a .4. You get the picture. These are assigned. The computer or device goes in and says, hey, I'm inside the network, I'm trusted, I need an address so I can communicate. And it's given one. These are not commonly searchable. You can't go on the internet and put in your IP address and come up with information about you. However, your public IP address is different. It is publicly facing. It's out there in the world. People can go and pull your public IP address and find out where you're located. Find out even which network you're on. Find out who your internet service provider or your ISP is. And from there, they can figure out what your attack surface looks like. Whether you have a large network or a small network or many devices or one device, it's all susceptible to this. Every single device is susceptible to this. So how do we know? We are going to do a couple of things. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to go down to our start menu and we're going to just click on it. Nothing else. Just click on the start menu in the bottom left-hand corner. It's the for Windows applications. And you're going to type in Charlie Mike Daniel, CMD. See it up there? And you're going to click on it. It's now going to open this screen right here. This is called command prompt. From here, I want you to type in net stat space -F -O, not 0. And you're going to hit the enter button. Watch what happens. It's now telling you the established connections on your computer or device, depending on what we're looking at. We're going to wait for it to finish. It's going to tell you every single active connection. Now, I don't have very many on mine. It may look like I do, but this is actually not that many. What you have to notice is the addresses right here. See this right here? That's an IP address. That's a public IP address. This one over here on this side is your private IP address. And this right here is the port that it's running on. If you come up here, you can see you have a local IP address and you have a foreign IP address. Think of foreign as not inside of your network. It's out there in the world. And then you have the state, which is established here, established here, established here. These are closed waiting. The established ones is the ones you need to be focused on. And then you have process identifier or PID. This is actually what the computer is running in the background to make this connection happen. Now, how do we know if they're malicious? I mean, we're on the internet. We got to have some connections. Otherwise, what are we doing? How are we getting our email? How are we surfing the internet? And the answer is a lot of these are going to be legitimate. In order to find the hacker, you have to run these IP addresses. So recommendation, write them down. They're easy to copy. You can select it like this and hit Control C. And then when we go to the next page, you can hit Control V, or you can just write them down. If you see things like this right here, this EC, The IP address is actually this guy, 44.238.19.152. You take these dashes out and you add dots in between them. Write them all down. Anything established in here. Now these up here at the top, you can disregard these. A 127.0.0.1 is your actual computer, as well as these down here. The difference is the foreign address is your desktop name. This is your computer name. So all it's doing is opening a connection to talk to itself in order to establish what it is to do in the background. Disregard these. The ones underneath, however, are the ones that you need to be aware of. You need to make sure that nothing here is malicious. This is where your hacker will be, right in here. So the question begs, what are these IP addresses for? Where do they go? In order to do that, we have to go to a place called VirusTotal. VirusTotal.com. VirusTotal.com is the world's, I wouldn't say security authority, but like the reporting tool, more likely. So you have Avast, you have Malwarebytes, you have Norton, you have firewalls, you have all of these security devices and companies. When they find a virus, it doesn't make sense to keep it to itself. So they report it to the rest of the world, so then a patch can be made faster, and the attacker, the malware, whatever it is, the phishing scam, can be blocked, can be cleaned, and basically safe for you to use again. The search right here, well, first off, you can put a file in here. If you actually have something downloaded that you're not sure if it's a virus or not, you can click on the file, choose file right here, and you can upload it and it'll tell you whether or not it knows it's a virus. URL, well, that's www.google.com. If you are suspected of a site that you think, I go there all the time and it shouldn't be malicious, but you never know, you can click on this right here and put it in here, and it'll scan it and tell you if there's anything malicious about that site. And then you have the great old search everything. This is the one I like because I can put IP addresses in here. I've picked a couple out of my stack that I wanted to try to run for y'all. Here's the first one, 4183247108. I'm going to highlight it, hit Control-C, come back over here to my VirusTotal window, and I'm going to Control-V for paste, and I'm going to hit the Enter key. It's going to come back and say 0 out of 92. It's green. Now, if you look right here, all of these security vendors and their analysis on this particular IP address. Not only that, at the very top, it tells you it is owned by Microsoft.com. This is not legitimate for most things, but it is legitimate for your operating system to run. And it's a good connection. It's not a hacker. Let's put something malicious in here. I'm also behind a firewall. I'm behind something called an intrusion prevention service, intrusion detection service. And there's no hackers in here because I've already checked them all. But on yours, you need to check it because you never know. My firewall pulled up some interesting IP addresses. Let's go pull some of these. Here's one that we can run that will come back. Now, what do I have? I put this IP address in. This was blocked by my firewall. Wasn't even let into the network. And there are thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of IP addresses that are flowing into your router that may or may not be being let through. Do you know? You should definitely know. We're going to have a firewall video that you could check out that's going to teach you how to build a firewall and how to block all of these malicious people. This is by some obscure thing called 123net. And says it has been selected for malware by Fortinet, which is a firewall, a very popular one. So if you had this guy in your system, you would have a hacker with an active connection in your computer transmitting who knows what. We can go down that road. There's a way to find out. And you've been hacked. So how do you knock them out? How do you take this guy that's in your system and you get rid of him? Well, there's one very sure way. We go down back to our command prompt here, CMD, and we find one. Let's say we found that guy, 207.91.252.242. And let's pretend that it was this guy. And you have this PID number, 4028, which is what the computer is using to make this connection active. So what do? We type in task kill space / PID, because we're telling it what process identifier to kill. And we want to kill 4028. 4028. And we hit the enter button. And what happens? The process could not be terminated. Mine is a active Microsoft, so it's not going to terminate it. Let's give it a different one. Let's say 23288 right here. 23288. This one, it says success. Sent termination signal to the process with PID 23288, which means bye-bye hacker. You just knocked them out of your system. Now, if you do this on a weekly basis, you will start to establish what your network should look like. You will know which IP addresses, and keep a list, are good, so you won't have to go back through them again. And you'll start to realize that you may be hacked over and over and over again. If that's the case, I recommend you taking it to a professional to have it professionally cleaned. If you knock them out and they don't come back, there you go. Congratulations. You just knocked out a hacker out of your system. I'm IT Adam, and I'll see you in the next video. Are you surprised with how many active connections are on your computer? And did you find a hacker? Maybe found two. The YouTube algorithm is all about the thumbs up. This thumb right here, it provides everyone to know the content is awesome and they're going to learn something. Please give us a thumbs up. And if you want to see more content on security and hacking and how to stay safe, subscribe to the channel. We got a bunch more videos coming.